In case you were wondering, I didn't play Bench Boost. Hello there, hope you're having a great Monday, hope you're having a great bank holiday. What is up, guys, and welcome to the FPL Today Team Selection video for Game Week 31. And boys, it is wildcard time. I have activated it, so later on in this video you will see my first draft for the wildcard for Game Week 31 and onwards, so stay tuned for that. But of course, we're going to also look at how I did in Game Week 30. Yes, I had a lot of players not play, so thank the Lord I didn't use the bench boost. But we'll get into that. Before we do that though, please, if you like this video or enjoy it, hit that like button, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for FPL, and have a bit of sympathy for me because I've decided to play my wildcard the week I'm back to work. And also, while editing the graphics for this video on Sunday morning, my daughter somehow managed to spinning roundhouse kick my laptop off of my lap. Yeah. Content creation when you have kids. Loads of fun. Anyway, let's get on with the video. So we start off with the players that have returned for me, and as of the recording of this video, because unfortunately I'm going to be busy Monday onwards, I don't know what Fernandes and Shaw have done yet. So if they have done well, they'll be with the first bunch of players. If they haven't, they'll be with the second bunch. But while I'm recording this, the only points I've managed to get that are above the appearance points are Martinez, who managed to get 4 points, Rafinha, who managed to get 6, with an assist for Leeds, and fortunately for me, my captain got 13 points, doubled to 26, and that is Harry Kane with his 2 goals against Newcastle United. Now, we could go on about Spurs and how the fact that they didn't beat Newcastle, and the fact that Son and Bale didn't start, but they did come on. Son, of course, getting a full half of football, whereas Bale, he only got brought on because Newcastle were just equalised. We could talk about how Leeds still haven't kept clean sheets, so the likes of Dallas only got 2 points, but at least that was more than what Stones got, Rudiger got, and Gundogan got. Also, Grealish, the man that was meant to be back game week after game week recently, wasn't even in the Aston Villa squad that travelled to Fulham, so my excitement for that game dropped significantly when Grealish didn't play. So it's not been a great game week, to be honest. You know, when you get excited for Bale getting 1 point, it's not been a great game week. But fortunately, the captain armband was on someone decent, and it looks like we're going to hold our rank and not really improve much as far as that is concerned. Which is why I'm very happy to now finally play my wildcard and get rid of this team that has literally left me stagnant, seeing me bounce between about 230k and just under the 200k mark. So I'm actually happy to get rid of this team. And the thing is, if Fernandes has done brilliantly, that would probably actually have hurt my rank as well. So I'm kind of hoping he doesn't do much. And the likes of Shaw, Cresswell and Antonio, those are the ones that could really save my game week. We would usually now go on to the players at risk, but as we're playing the wild card, it's likely that a lot of these players are going to be changed. The likes of Aston Villa and Leeds have a fixture swing for the worse, and some clubs like Leicester City and Chelsea have a good fixture swing coming in. So there'll be no players at risk, but before we get on to the first wildcard draft for Game Week 31, please do go and check out Fantasy Football Hub. All the data on FPL Today is taken from the Fantasy Football Hub, with tools such as player comparison to choose the best players out of 2 options, Opta-Stats tables to see who could be hitting form soon and who will be amongst the goals, and a fixture ticker so you know who has not just the form but also the fixtures to match, and so much more, like articles and coverage of other fantasy football games. Ask yourself why you haven't joined the Fantasy Football Hub. It's just £2 a month to unlock your FPL potential. So if you want access to fixture tickers and Opta-Stats, do make sure to check out Fantasy Football Hub, top link in the description. It does help the channel out massively. They've been a great partner to FPL Today this season, so give them a look. Okay, so we'll do this the same way we usually do a team selection, just there's going to be a lot of new players to talk about. We're going to start off with the goalkeeper, and for Game Week 31, right now I do have Fraser Forster in goal. Now I know Southampton literally just conceded 2 to Burnley, and although they came back and won that 3-2, still not ideal that they're conceding to Burnley. But with West Brom away, who have just scored 5 themselves, so bit iffy there. I'm hoping Southampton can improve their defensive performance, because my other goalkeeper, unless I switch him to Mendy, is still Martinez. Just he will be on the bench for game week 31. I just feel like Liverpool will get something against Aston Villa, but of course I could be wrong, and Liverpool have been very disappointing this season. We then do have in defence Ruben Dias coming in instead of John Stones. Man City's defence has been great this season, let's be honest. The only issue is the rotation that comes along with a Pep Guardiola side. Dias seems the most nailed on, but I do worry that there's going to be rotation for pretty much everyone. And as we saw this game week just gone, Gundogan was rotated, which might mean he plays next game week, which has put him up in my consideration for game week 31. But there's going to be rotation everywhere, but we still want to get involved in those Man City clean sheet points. So Dias has made it in with Leeds at home as his next fixture. Then we have Connor Cody. He's come in because Wolves have a great run of fixtures now that game week 31 has come upon us. If we actually look at their fixtures, it's Fulham in the next game away, but then it's Sheffield United and Burnley at home, West Brom away, and then Brighton Hove Albion at home, before they got the likes of Tottenham, Everton and Man United, which is when we might look to change him up for someone else. And that is also why we have another Wolves player in our midfield, but stay tuned for that. But Wolves definitely look like they got a good fixture run. Then we do go to Trent Alexander-Arnold, who does have Aston Villa at home in the next game. And again, a very good fixture run for Liverpool with Aston Villa, Leeds, Newcastle in the next three, with game week 35 having Southampton, game week 36 West Brom, Burnley 37 and Crystal Palace in 38. So Man United in 34 is the only bit of banana skin there I really see for them, unless they do put in some terrible performances yet again. And then finally we have Rudiger, who is a bit of an issue now for me, because do I go for a more expensive Chelsea defender, hoping that they'll be more nailed on than Rudiger, who of course didn't start in game week 30, but now with Thiago Silva having got that red card, will Rudiger come in game week 31? And was that just a rest for Rudiger, with him planning to be played in the Premier League in the up and coming fixtures? It's just all up in the air, to be honest, with that Chelsea defence, and Mendy seems the safest way right now into that Chelsea defence, as long as I think they're going to return to the defensive performances they put in before West Brom. If Mendy comes in for Martinez, potentially we could also go for a cheap defender that will just sit on the bench, as long as we can find someone that starts that is slightly cheaper than Rudiger. So we've got some thinking to do here, and of course, before I see all the comments in the comments down below, this is a draft, so it can and possibly will change before game week 31 hits its deadline. Moving on to the midfield, and now it's where it gets a little bit interesting, because let's be honest, I think anyone playing their wildcard would be looking at Liverpool because of their fixtures, would be looking at Chelsea because of their recent performances. Everyone's got a Man City defender right now, so only really Cody with Wolves is potentially a differential. But we then have a midfield that has two Liverpool in it, which could be a bit of a risky move. But with the fixtures changing and the return of Diogo Jota, I've brought in Diogo Jota and Mohamed Salah for the same fixture run that I've got Trent Alexander-Arnold. Now, Jota didn't start the Liverpool game that they just played, but when he came on, he did do the business against Arsenal. Salah also getting some points, and they have Aston Villa in the next game, who have just conceded to Fulham. I think Liverpool now will be focused on trying to make sure they finish in the top four, because it'll be a very big disappointment for them if they don't get that automatic Champions League place. So I think they really will push on, and I just don't see the kind of rotation in the Liverpool side that I do see in the Man City side, that might even prioritise the Champions League with how far ahead they are in the Premier League. Then in midfield we have Son. That's mainly because of the double game week that's coming up for Spurs. In game week 32, they have Everton and Southampton. Now, they have Man United in game week 31, and it's possible that I bring in Fernandes for Son and then make a transfer to Son for game week 32. However, Man United's game is against Burnley in that game week, so I'm not too sure what I'm going to do here. But I do like the idea of Son, who did get 45 minutes today in a double game week, but they do blank straight after, so I'd have to transfer one out and probably bench a Spurs player in game week 33. But after that game week where they blank, they do have Sheffield United and Leeds after that, so definitely interested in the Spurs assets, and Son and Kane are really the only ones I'm looking at. I experimented with Bale, it didn't go very well. Then we have finally Neto, who could be my differential in midfield. Again, with those Wolves fixtures being so good, Neto seems like the main creative player that's going to make stuff happen in that Wolves side. And I'm really excited to bring in someone that's a little bit different than what everyone else has. Although I am aware a lot of people around me are going to be playing their wildcard at this stage as well. Then finally up front, we haven't actually changed anything with the two players that I'm planning on starting for Gameweek 31. However, there is a striker on the bench that could come in for Antonio. But Antonio with Leicester at home, I think West Ham Leicester could be a very interesting game that could go either way. Don't really know how it's going to go. But the way I've built my team, I don't really have space or funds for Dominic Calvert-Lewin, partly because I want to be sure I can bring in Bruno Fernandes if I need to. So Antonio is in alongside Kane, who, after recent performances, can't really be dropped from the side. He just looks like such an important part of how Spurs are playing right now. And I think Spurs will also hopefully be pushing on to try and get top 4. So Kane could be vital to my FPL aspirations. Then we look at the bench, and Martinez is still there for now, but it could change to Mendy. And then, of course, Mendy would come in off the bench and Forster would drop to the bench. We have Iheanacho, who has the West Ham fixture. However, of course, he's away. Iheanacho has looked great recently. I'm slightly concerned about the return of Barnes and Maddison, but for now, I want him in, and then I can always transfer him out if necessary. We then have Saka, who does have a cautionary injury alert on him. However, if I'm going to go with Arsenal, who do have really good fixtures, with them being Sheffield United, Fulham, Everton, Newcastle and West Brom in the next 5, if I'm going to go there, I want to go with a player that I'm confident in. I'm not confident in Arsenal's defence, and as far as their midfielders and attackers, only real Emil Smith-Rowe and Saka have impressed me consistently. So if I'm going to go there, Saka is the one that I really want to go for. If that works out or not, I may have to change him for someone else. It could be back to Ilkay Gundogan if I think he's playing against Leeds. We shall see, but Saka's in there for now. And then finally, Shaw hasn't been transferred out the side yet because I think Man United still have a decent amount of fixtures, and Shaw has looked incredible in defence of Man United recently. And then we come to the final part of the video, and that is the potential players I'm looking at outside of this draft. And at the moment there's only 4, but as the week goes on, others could come into my consideration. But right now, 2 very big considerations are De Bruyne and Ilkay Gundogan. Now, De Bruyne has looked in great form, played very well in that Leicester game and was unlucky not to get any assists. In the last 6, he's managed 18 shots, 6 on target, 9 from inside the box, 2 big chances and 2 goals. Also with 1 assist coming from 3 big chances created. And his XG and XA are decent for the last 6 game weeks. We're also considering Ilkay just because at 6.1 million, he has been great value in the FPL game. However, he does see his minutes drop ever since De Bruyne has come back, and I am worried about rotation and how he might be favoured in the Champions League games over the Premier League games. However, he has also got 1 goal and 1 assist in the last 6 from 8 shots on goal and 5 on target. But I think De Bruyne is probably the one I'm more concerned about, and Ilkay is more likely to be a punt if I think he's going to start against Leeds. Then we also have Bruno, who is a consideration for the spot that has been given to Son at the moment. Bruno Fernandes has just been a very consistent player all season, and he does have great chance creation with 14 key passes, 1 big chance created and 1 assist in the last 6 game weeks. But we know with penalties and with his creativity and also the fact he's got 2 goals recently, he is still a good option, even though I might be punting on Liverpool to do well. And then the final person I'm looking at is actually one player that is pretty difficult to fit into my side because of the price he comes in at, which is 7.1 million, and that's Mason Mount. Now, if we actually look at his underlying stats, he's managed to get 3 goals but no assists. That's more than any other midfielder I'm considering at the moment. He's had 15 shots, which is second only to De Bruyne, but the same on target as De Bruyne was 6, 7 from inside the box, 2 big chances, and an XG of 1.96, which is only shy of Bruno Fernandes. He then also has expected assists at 1.42. And of course, he is cheaper than De Bruyne and Fernandes and has slightly better underlying stats than Ilkay Gundogan. So Mason Mount is a player that potentially I could use to take advantage of Chelsea's fixtures. Anyway, guys, that is it for this video. So if you have enjoyed it, please do hit that like button, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for FPL. Apologies if the point part of the video was a little bit mixed up, but I am recording this before the Man United game purely because I won't have much time tomorrow to record a video, but we will get more content out through the week. At least I'll do my best, but of course I don't know how work is going to go, so fingers crossed I still have time to get all the editing done necessary to put out more content for you guys. Also, do check out Fantasy Football Hub, top link in the description down below. And with that being said, I've been JNO, this has been FPL Today. Remember, it's all about the game.